Mhm.
Hey everybody, this is episode 5 of Double Cross Anime, the podcast. I haven't been uploading the episodes with numbers, just titles, but now you know. This is episode 5. Episode 3, the lost episode. Episode 4, what you watched last time. So now
Mhm.
we're on to number 5, and we're going to be talking about episode 6 of a few of our shows here, recapping some Darling in the Franxx, everything we've watched so far, and then a few more episodes of Ergo Proxy. So Mario, which of these series tickled your fancy? Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Kokoku first.
Okay, why that one?
Oh, I think the last episode was very interesting. For once.
For once.
Well,
to me, this is
it
like the most interesting show.
it 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 has been like progress interestingly, but I think like last week was where it was when we see the few plot threads coming together.
Right. I mean, Juri and Majima are now together, and
Yeah,
they're kind of the two main characters. So
yeah,
I definitely see what you mean there.
right. So basically, on that episode, we got like two main developments. Jewelry brothers nearly turned himself into a heroes.
Yeah, Tsubasa. Yes.
Yeah, Subasa. That was pretty intense. Like I know that Jewelry gonna put the specter out of him, but it was I was like, oh my god, you have to do it quick.
Yeah, she definitely took her time. The grandpa had
Yeah,
to yell at her.
she had to, she was like, oh my god, what I'm gonna do? I'm confused. but it was good. Like, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
she probably regarded expelling people's specters as like a violent act because up until
yeah.
then she had only been doing it to like all the goons hired by the Genuine Love Society. And so
Hmm.
now for her to do the same thing that she's been doing to these like villains, to
Yep.
her brother, yeah, I mean it's understandable that she paused a little bit, but she did manage to save him in time.
And I really like the concept of like the specter. They become like a dust. They become like some sort of sand dust. And I like the concept behind it.
Yeah, I still don't understand like the biology behind that.
No, no, even think
But
about it.
it's yeah, but it is interesting. It's an interesting way to present that idea.
Hmm.
The sand is I don't know why, but it
It's like it's something decay, decade.
yeah
Decay. Like
yeah
it yeah. So I think that makes sense.
it does on some level, even if you don't totally understand it, and even if there's no character like standing in front of the camera looking right at you and explaining, oh, this it's they look like this and they do this because X Y Z.
Hmm.
It's still appealing. The way that the heralds look and the machinations behind them, even though we don't totally understand them yet. So what was the other major development you mentioned?
Yeah, so we got like the big heroes, like the three heroes combining together. I don't even get why they like the three of them are in one place.
Right. Yeah, in the same kind of herald body.
Yeah,
That was intriguing for sure. I have a theory
yep.
about
Tell me,
that.
tell me about that.
All right. I kind of think that heralds are not actually permanent. Like their bodies, they don't start one way and then shrink as
Hmm.
they protect the stalled. I kind
Yeah.
of have a theory that what's permanent is the soul, like the specter. And when
Uh huh.
someone has intent to kill, the soul materializes and the body like forms around it. So remember, there was a comment in this episode about the Yukawa's dad. Like his name is Takafumi or Takafuji or something.
Hmm.
One of the guys comments that he must be really messed up um, for the herald to appear.
Yeah,
Like he
I don't get that scene either. So can you just explain more to me about that scene?
Yeah, I think that maybe the herald's size has to do with like the killing intent of the person who's trying to harm a member of the stalled.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that determines the handler's size and composition. And
Right.
maybe since I mean the reason that comment was made is because he's like mentally unstable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. And that's why he was able to put his mind to killing someone so quickly when Majima couldn't,
Yeah.
even though she was the one who really wanted to summon the handler or the herald.
Yeah.
So I think the way, like the body that forms around the specter when the herald materializes might have something to do with the killing intent of
Mm-hmm.
the murderer or the potential murderer.
Yeah, I like the way that Majima when she tried to kill the store in order for the spec the hero coming out, and she couldn't do it. I I like the way they do it because it's pretty hard to try to harming someone.
Right.
So I can see why she failed to do that, but
Right. Yeah.
but but then the father he just came in and he didn't even have like a knife,
What did he
and
have?
he didn't have anything. He just like put his hand on the neck of the guy. I think.
Oh, really? He didn't take
Yeah.
the pen from Majima?
He didn't he didn't have any weapon.
Okay.
If that what I recall.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right about that now that I'm thinking about it. I need to turn my volume down for a second here. Okay, we're good.
Hmm.
I think you're right. And that kind of goes towards the idea that the dad is crazy or
Yep.
like some kind of psychopath
Yeah.
because he even without a weapon in hand, he could still easily contemplate and commit himself to killing another person.
that took me by surprise. Well, that took me like off guard. Like
Yeah,
it.
me too. I didn't expect that at all.
Well, and and
Although I
we
do hate
also
his character.
we, I don't like his character either.
What else? What were you about to say?
And then in the end we have like his brother that like
Her brother. Yeah.
her brother becoming a store, I think. Usually for the body inside the hero we will have like the like mummified
Right.
body, but like her brother, he seemed like a normal person, so I suspect that like Kokuku like breaking the rules again.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was expecting his eyes to open actually.
Well, I for now I think that he become a store, so like yeah, but basically he's alive now
Yeah.
is
I
what I think.
I wonder about that. Well, I mean, even if he is alive, as a member of the stalled, he won't be able to, like breathe,
Move.
open
Yeah.
his eyes. His heart probably isn't beating, but he is alive. Um, so
Is
I
he
mean,
is he alive?
I think that we're meant to assume that,
Mm-hmm.
um, because like you said, he's not mummified. His skin tone looks pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to imagine that's like the next place that the show is going to go, because now we know a little bit more about the heralds, though we don't know everything. So now it's time for us to learn about the people inside the heralds.
And I think after this episode we pretty sure about the main antagonist of the show.
What do you mean
That
we're not sure about the main antagonist?
no, now we sure about that. Like
Oh,
like before, I don't know like what roles Majima gonna be. Is
oh,
he
I
gonna
see.
be the main enemy, or is she gonna be like like the companions of Juri and the family, and even now when Churi and the family now they basically coming all together now. So I think they could pretty much escape the frame, the static right now.
Well, it's worth noting that the only reason that they were cooperating and working together was because Majima and her henchmen kidnapped Makoto, the kid.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's all like,
Oh, but they do that
peaceful
because, well, they do that for Majima request, and now she done her like her request was fulfilled. So I think pretty much now they are coming together in a team.
Well, I think they probably will too, but the way they came together is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not going to be like the best of friends.
Nope.
She took off the kid's shirt and shoes, and
Mm-hmm.
and was like, we have your son slash grandson slash great grandson, so you better come with us. Like I think there might still be some antagonism between them. I wouldn't be surprised
Mm-hmm.
if, one of them, betrays the other, or
The henchman.
yeah, he's
Oh.
he's a bit of a wild card as well.
Yep.
He didn't have much to do in this episode. He was just babysitting, but he
Mm-hmm.
who knows what's gonna happen with him.
All right. So what do you think? What happened next?
Oh, I don't know. I think eventually, her brother, her younger brother, who we see escape the handler somehow. I think
Mm-hmm.
eventually they're gonna find a way to remove him from the stalled and bring him into this frame, or else they're going to leave this frame.
Yeah.
One of those two things is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
because the brother, I feel, is going to become a more significant character, or if not significant, at least he's going to, like, open his eyes, move around, talk, something.
That's right.
I hope.
I hope so as well.
So you don't seem to be super excited about this show on the whole, because you said that this episode, did something like exciting for once.
Well, I'm I'm
So
surrounded
how?
with I'm surrounded with watching with Kokoku like every episodes. So I still enjoying myself, but as a whole, it just doesn't do much to me. It's alright.
Okay, yeah. I've been feeling a little more over the past couple weeks, like it's not as great as I initially thought, because I was mostly on board with how different it was at first. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, the whole palette of the show is very like brown and gray,
Yep.
and a lot of the characters I don't particularly like. It's mostly the mystery of it.
I think it best it was like the first few episodes when they introduced the concept, because the concept it was really refreshing
Yeah,
and original.
I agree. Yeah, I guess the earlier ones were best for me too. We
But
got what, like
not
5-6 episodes left to go.
yeah, but not to not, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's not bad. It just it's still enjoyable.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's see how
I'm
everything
enjoying it.
goes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, next show.
Yeah. What do you want to talk on the next shows?
Let's do Violet Evergarden.
All right. All
So
right.
this was the first episode where, or I mean, the first two episodes there were no Violet didn't write any letters. I don't
Mhm,
think.
mhm.
But this was the first one since episode 3, ever since the show adopted its like letter of the week, person of the week format, where Violet was not actually writing a letter; she was copying some old astrology documents.
That's right.
So the story was a little different.
How you think about this episodes in
Uh, it
particular?
was it was it was okay. I actually thought it was like bog standard. Um, I didn't care very much for Leon. I thought his like his hatred of women, or his coldness towards women, whatever word you like, whatever degree you want to use to express it. I didn't think it was very interesting, or explored very deeply. He just told the story about how his mom abandoned him, and then Violet like cures his coldness by, I don't know, being so like honest and straightforward.
Yeah, that's right. Straightforward. Well,
I wasn't crazy about it. How about you?
but well, personally, I just don't have I don't have much thing to say about this episode. Like I
Oh,
try
that's
to,
not good.
I try to blogging about it, but I don't have like many things to talk about it.
Huh.
Mm. It
Go
was
ahead.
okay. It was okay, but it doesn't leave me any impact.
Yeah, for me, the big impact in the last few episodes has been, especially 3 and 4, has been the letters that Violet has written and the demonstration of progress that she's made. And in this one, I really feel as though it was Leon who he was the one who took that step in his own life.
Hmm.
But since I didn't care very much for Leon, I didn't care very much for the episode.
And I don't like the story. Some part of the storytelling of this episode as well. And it
Say more about that.
it doesn't have that I watched Violet Evergarden back to back with After the Rain, because like after watching the latter, I just feel many problem with Violet Evergarden storytelling.
Oh boy, that's bad.
Well, let take the scene where she talking about the guys in like many some guys in a library, and those guys who just acting like like
Come have fun with us, babe.
yeah, that they it's just bad. It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah, it definitely is. You have to figure that the reason that scene came up so quickly and like the parallel between Violet and Leon was drawn so like fast and so bluntly is because they're only working with like 22 minutes per episode or something.
That's,
But I mean, even though they're constrained on time, it still feels pretty lousy when
yeah,
the show goes to such great lengths to make them seem so similar, and then Violet says literally out loud, "Wow, we're really similar."
yeah, and then they try to badmouth the guy with without any context.
Yeah.
I just feel bad. I don't even know what I feel bad about Leon, about these guys, about the show. I just feel bad hearing about like on these.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I felt bad about it because it was so. I don't know.
obvious.
Yeah, yeah, that's I guess obvious. I didn't feel bad like for Leon or for anyone in the show. I felt bad for myself watching
Mm.
it.
Well, I'm feeling the same, and
And that's too bad because you've been last week you said that the show was on like an upward trend.
yeah,
So I guess this one breaks that trend.
yeah, it's break that trend. It's still not bad, by the way. It's still above average, but
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's above average.
it's above average for me.
Okay.
But it just it's plain as well. So I don't have many things to say. Oh,
Yeah.
beside the background was really nice.
Of this episode,
The-
you mean like the interiors of the observatory and
The
the stars and all that?
yeah, on those, and the new city look very nice as well. Detail.
The what?
The city that
Yes.
they go to.
Right. Yeah, we got a bunch of shots of that like before we actually moved into the observatory.
And even the cable car. I think
I was bothered by the cable car. Was there CG in there somewhere?
is there. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there is CG in there. But
Something
it
about
looked nice to
bothered
me. All right. Mm.
I was distracted by its movement. It didn't seem it seemed to
Fit.
be like teleporting every like fraction of a second rather than moving like smoothly down its cable.
All right.
It's probably just a little nitpick.
Well, I having the same problem watching Tiger and Bunny. Have you watched Tiger and Bunny?
I watched I think the first 4 episodes of Tiger and Bunny. I know
Alright,
it's an action show, so it really needs good animation to sell
Well,
itself.
Well, I'm watching the first 4 episodes. I just watched it literally last night. It was good. Well, yeah, but the CG whenever like the main character having their or
He gets in his
Oh.
suit, right?
yeah, in the suit, it
Yes.
it just outplays.
Yeah.
It's
I
stiff.
mean that show was I think 2011. Oh, it must be if you're
Just-
watching it.
Yeah, yep. 2011. Yep.
I guess CG wasn't like up to
But
par by that point.
yep.
Here's something. You remember at the end of last week's episode of Violet Evergarden, Violet got off the boat after having, spent
yep.
time with Princess Charlotte and stuff, and she is suddenly, talked to by an enemy captain from her war days. What the hell
Right.
happened? Why wasn't he in this episode?
I think he's supposed to be a brother of the guy that she loved.
No, no. They're not brothers, are they? No way.
That's what I take. Actually that's what I take. I think like he's the brother of the guy that she loved. What's his name? Chibert.
Yeah. That's the Major's name, Gilbert. But
Yeah.
her brother, I can't remember his brother's name. If we ever
Yeah.
got it, they do have the same like blue hair and kind of a ponytail, or almost like a braid in the back, right?
I need to double check on that.
Yeah, me too. It did occur to me that they have the same hairstyle, but I don't. I mean, why would Gilbert's brother be on the opposite side of the war?
Oh, from what I take, he just like a veteran, a war veteran, and he no, I have no idea. I absolutely
But
have no
he
idea about that.
at the that's okay. I'm a little confused too. But I remember that at the end of the last episode, he says to Violet, like, you killed a bunch of my men.
Mm-hmm.
You took them out. So if that's the case, if Violet had killed a bunch of his troops in combat, why would Gilbert's brother be on the opposite side of the war, and why would Violet be killing his troops?
Have no idea. Or maybe he was a prisoner of war. No.
Maybe. I mean that's a creative answer. Maybe that's the case. But okay, barring his identity, like whether or not he's the brother, why would the show bring that up at the end of episode 5, and then episode 6 there's no mention of it? He's nowhere to be found. It's a completely separate story.
Yeah, I think it works as a episodic nature. So, like maybe in the next few more episodes when they address her old like development, they will address that again.
But I still don't understand why put it at the end of episode 5. Why not put it at the end of the episode, right before they go more into her backstory?
Well, I think because they just lacking of some 5-10 minutes, they need to fill in.
I guess so. I wanted to know more about that, and no, we didn't get that. We got some story that I didn't really care for.
Now, to be serious though, I think it maybe because I think last week was the one from the line novel, so I think it's part of the line novel as well.
Last week was the one from what?
From the line novel, so there was that was a material from the line novels.
Oh, light novel. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope they follow up on that. Next week at some point.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Then I just all right. Whatever.
I think they gonna address it like episode 10 or 11 when we
then
finally.
Why not put it at the end of episode 9 or 10, right before episode 10 or 11?
You haven't watched. Yeah, that's right. You haven't watched Flip Flapper, though, right?
I saw 3 episodes of Flip Flappers.
All right, because from episodes, I remember from episode 6 to episode 9, I think. So they were like 3-4 episodes in a row, where they end with the same cliffhanging,
and then they don't resolve it.
And then they don't resolve it at all until episode 10. So you see like they. That's just how anime works.
Oh no. This is not normal. What Violet Evergarden did. I don't know about Flip Flappers. I haven't seen that far in it yet, but it was fine. Yeah, the show had an off week, I think.
All right. Any other things that you can think of about the episodes? The story.
Of Violet Evergarden.
Yeah. Do you remember there was the old story that they're talking about? Oh, they were reciting some story.
Yes, I do. When he's first dictating to her what she ought to type down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was some kind of creation myth or something like that. About how the world was formed or about how the comet was formed. Halley's Comet, they called it. I think that was supposed to be a reference to Halley's Comet.
Yep.
And yeah, I for a while I was listening intently to it and trying to figure out what the meaning was in relation to this episode, where the parallel was. But after a while I just gave up completely.
I think it just meant to build to build up their world building, because the world building of Violet Evergarden is actually it's detailed. It's alright. They have their own world.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I mean. For all the nation, we actually don't really know much about them, on the countries.
I mean, we knew that the two nations who, with the prince and the princess, were still hostile to one another last week. Yep. Yeah. In this one, they're in a new territory. It's called like Australia or something.
Australia?
Oh. No, it's called it's either Australia or Asteria. I mean, I don't know how to say it based on its spelling, but that's where we were this time, and we don't know much about it other than there's an observatory there.
Oh, there's one more thing that I want to ask you. I think Violet Evergarden, they have dubbed the English dub, right? So did you watch it in the dub?
No. Wait, is it dubbed in English? It's not, right?
I don't know. I haven't checked it out myself, but I saw they have dub for Violet Evergarden, because it's a Netflix, right?
It is Netflix, but it's not on USA Netflix. You have to pirate it.
Man, that's unbelievable how Netflix does things.
I mean, most of the time Netflix releases everything at once all across the world, like they did for Devilman Crybaby. But for some reason it's not in the United States, but it's in many other countries, in addition to Japan. So I mean, I don't really watch dubs anyway. I don't really mind. So right. I mean, you've been watching it in Japanese with subtitles?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then we've been watching it the same way. I can't comment on any other audio. All right. How about After the Rain?
All right. Let's do After the Rain.
This is my least favorite episode so far.
All right. Yeah. Tell me more about it.
Say that right off the bat. It reminded me a little bit of episode 4, in that it was clearly split up into two parts. Episode 4 was the one where she went on the date with Kase, and then she went on the date with the manager.
Yep.
In this one, half of the episode was dedicated to her relationship with Haruka, her friend from the track team, and the other half was the library scene, I guess. And there was a strong parallel, like there was a contrast you were supposed to get between Kase and Kondo in episode 4. In this one, they seemed like two completely separate stories, and I am not really interested in Haruka at all. So I didn't like. It seems to me, this is something that I think I talked about in a previous episode of this podcast. I'm worried that the show is just going to start spinning its wheels and fill time because the manga is ongoing, and they can't push the romance too hard. So I'm worried that we're going to get more stories like this, and I didn't really like it. Those are just my general thoughts. How about you?
Well, I still enjoy this episodes. Like I agree with you that the two stories, the two parts, aren't as as heavy, as as important about the romance as what we saw in early episodes. So like early episodes set the bar so high that this episode seemed lacking.
It did for me, at least. Yeah.
In comparison, but for what they portray, I think it was really it was solid.
Yeah, I agree that it was solid. It was a solid portrayal of the story that they told. About those characters, about Haruka and I guess mostly Haruka. But I don't. I mean, how do you feel about her?
I can feel her. I can feel what she been struggling against her friendship with Tachibana.
Do you think it's just friendship? I feel like Haruka probably has a crush on
Nah,
Akira.
I think it's just friendship.
If it's
You
just
know,
friendship, then why is the show spending so much time on it?
you know, I just watching. I just finished watching Wandering Sun, and you know, like for that show, like every friendship, every relationship, every, you know, uh, all the relationship have has a special meaning, have a
That's true,
special
and
levels,
yeah, and
layers.
that cast is very large as well. There's a lot of kids that they have to
Yeah.
balance.
So compare that one to this one.
Well,
I
that's the thing. I mean, Wandering Sun has such a large cast, and this one has a much smaller one. So if you spend half an episode telling a story about the relationship between Akira and Haruka, then doesn't it need to have more meaning than just, oh, they were friends once, now they're not as close?
well, it's more about like her, about Tachibana's side of, you know, like that, her past life. Uh,
Right.
well, I might put it too hard to say that it's her past life, but that's the life that she, you know, like that she has already experienced, and she move on.
Right.
So it's still, you know, it's still relevant to see like to see about the feeling of the person that she, you know, like she let on. She now she just doesn't, well, she uh so now it's a person who feel that she left behind,
Yeah.
but
And I think Haruka feels left behind
yeah.
as well.
So it actually, you remember the flashback when they running, and she complaining Tachibana about like she just running ahead
Yes.
without ever looking back, and she always feel that she was left behind. I think that's significant, their relationship right now. That
Yeah.
Tachibana just running forward, and she feel left behind, and she feels a strain in their relationship.
Yeah, I agree. And
So
I mean,
it still
go
it
ahead.
it still speaks some part of, you know, like of Tachibana life, and I still think it's relevant on those, like not that much, but still relevant to the main storyline of
Well,
Tachibana.
I don't know about that. I mean, hasn't the main story of episodes 1 through 5 been
It
Tachibana's relationship to the manager?
that two of them. So that Tachibana relationship to the manager, and that's her growing as well.
Eh,
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really. You said it's relevant to the main story. I really don't feel that
Right.
it is. I mean, Akira is. It's true that she used to be part of the track team and she used to be good friends with Haruka and several of the other girls, and now she isn't. Um, but what? I mean, what does that have to do with? Did we learn anything new about Akira's character, about Tachibana's character in this episode?
Well,
Did
because it comes from the point of view of Haruka, so we didn't really learn much about
Right.
Tachibana.
I think
Yep.
that was part of the problem, is that it wasn't from Akira's point of view. I mean, there were many long, wordless scenes with like really loud violin accompaniment, which
Well,
bothered me.
really,
And that was
I
yeah.
love every single minute of that scene. All right,
But it was the
go
strings
ahead.
were so overpowering. They smothered those scenes for me. I wish the strings had been quieter, or I wish they had been absent and it was just piano, because the show's been doing fine with just piano
Mhm.
for the most part.
Well,
That's not to say that strings haven't been present, but they've never been like that loud and distracting for me.
I love violin, and I love piano sound. So every time they do that, it just give point for me.
I mean, the those scenes were depicting like a day in Akira's life, right?
Mhm.
She like misses the bus that she needs to take to her job, and it's really hot outside, and so she's sweating while she's waiting for the next bus, and then she finally gets on and she goes to work after school, and then you see her taking some classes like remediatory. That's not a word. Remedial classes, because she needs to brush up on one subject or another. So it's like a day in the life of Tachibana, and I don't think that the musical accompaniment needed to be that driving and that strong when it was just depicting a day in her life.
Right.
And those scenes where it just depicted a day in her life actually broke up the Haruka story. They like interrupted it. So I don't know, man. I didn't like this episode kind of killed my buzz for this show. I mean, I still recognize it as the best show of the winter season for sure. Not that that's a fact. That's just my opinion.
Yep. And actually, when you were talking about like this episode that split into half, um, after the rain episodes, many episodes before had always like split it into half as well.
Right,
So
but the manager relationship is in focus in both halves.
yeah,
Usually.
that's right. That usually like on those half they coming together in the end. Not so much with these episodes.
Yeah. What did you
Well,
make of let's I mean obviously I didn't like the Haruka scene, so let's move away from that for a second. How did you feel about the library scene?
uh, it's pretty good because it's still talk it's still about the main relationship between her and the managers, and who you think the person the authors, the writer at the end. Well,
Right,
what
on
his
the
what
book
his
that he checked out?
yep, what her relationship, that's the girl name, so what her relationship with Kondo,
I
do you
mean,
think?
I did a little googling, so I think I know who that character is.
All right,
So
so
I won't spoil it for you.
well, so at this moment I guess it's either his ex-wife, or like someone who was in writing with him before,
Right.
like Kondo was really into writing, I think like some 20 years ago.
Yep.
So I think that's the person who was with him before, and now they actually published a book, and he still become nothing. He's still nothing.
Right. He's just a manager at some family restaurant.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Divorce.
those are two. Yeah,
With one
divorced middle-aged manager at a family restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, those are two good guesses. As the person's name is Chihiro Kujo.
Chihiro, you
Right.
say?
Yeah, Chihiro Kujo, and
Mhm.
Chihiro is the name of the main character in Spirited Away.
Oh.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so that's how you know that it's a girl's name.
Oh.
But I mean I know who Chihiro is, and I won't say anything more about that. But that name being on that book and his seeming like his focus on that was one of the most interesting points of the episode for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that the show clued you in to the presence of another character without even showing that character. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And it means that we've got some more like a meteor story for the manager coming down the pipe at some point,
Mm-hmm.
which is good because I really like his character.
I like him too.
He might be my favorite character. I mean, actually, I should say maybe or might be. He's definitely my favorite character in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Tachibana
think
is
so.
my favorite character
Yeah.
in the show. Definitely.
I don't know.
Without doubt.
I kind of I don't like the way that she brushes off her old friends, even though I understand it. I don't really like that about her. Um,
She's
so
just
I
she's
like
just being
how
frank, I think.
I mean, what you she's being frank.
Yeah, she's being frank.
I mean, I think when she's pushing away all the members of the track team, not just Haruka, but in one of the episodes, when one of her old kohai
Yep.
comes up to her and says, "Hey, watch our practice," the way that she just like leaves seems pretty cold to me. I think the reason that she acts that way is because she felt left behind by everyone else when she was injured. So
Mhm.
now she's taking that pent up feeling of having been like abandoned,
Mhm.
and she's reversing it. Now she's abandoning them. And I don't
Mhm.
like that. I mean, I understand it, and I think the show does a good job with it, but I don't like it.
All right.
So it's manager all the way.
All right.
So we do. So you don't think that Haruka is like in love with
No,
Tachibana?
no.
Okay. I do, but I don't think that the show will push it. I don't think we're gonna go there.
All right. Mm, if you want to tell me more about that, you can.
I mean, the main reason that I think that is because Haruka just seems to be very fixated on her, and the show is taking a lot of time out of its busy schedule to show us that Haruka is especially affected by Tachibana's personality change and the distance between them.
Well, she does definitely. But how how you put that into the like romance context?
I just think that her level of like interest in Tachibana is more than friendship. I think that unless she's like also a very lonely person and thinks that Tachibana is like the only real friend that she's ever had, or something melodramatic like that.
Well,
Uh,
that yeah, I can see what you mean, but you know like like friendship. It's actually very hard to describe. Like how much you know I don't know. So sometimes I think that friendship is more than the relationship.
you mean
The
like more important or
more
like a stronger
important.
feeling?
Yeah, both. And I definitely know that my father think that way.
That your father thought that way.
Yeah, my father thought that way. Yes.
Interesting.
Well, so that it depends on each person as well.
Yeah, it's
Well,
that's true. I mean, for me, the strongest I've ever felt about someone was someone that I was in a relationship with. I don't
well,
think
I feel the same way, but I know that others they don't feel the same way.
right. I mean,
Mm.
maybe Haruka's one of those people. In either case, I just am not that interested in her. I think she has a cool character design, and I I like the fact that she's holding on to her friendship with Akira. Like she's not willing to throw that away, and she
Mhm.
doesn't see Akira distancing herself and think, oh well, fuck her.
Mhm.
She thinks, I want to stay friends with this person because they're important to me. Like she even writes that note. Remember
Yep.
that when she
Mhm.
wins the little gotcha character or whatever it's called.
Yep. Yep.
She says our friendship is more than track and field, right? But I really do feel like she's uh,
Yeah.
more into her than that. That's just my
Yep.
theory, I guess.
Well, I don't think that we're gonna see her again in the focus again. But
Well then,
well,
okay.
we
I
enjoy
am
what we saw so far.
But like, if that's true, and I think you might be right, but if that's true that we're never going to get that much focus on her again, then why did we get it? Why did we get so much of it in this episode?
It just I think it's just some side story. It's just some of the story that
Uh, I think
well,
you might be right, and I don't like that.
all right.
Like, I don't. It's not that I don't like you being right. It's that I don't like the idea that the show is going to devolve into a bunch of side stories. And oh, by the way, there's
Oh.
Tachibana and the manager over here too.
Oh my god. And yeah, talking about that, the side story, I think they're gonna be a side story. I'm just thinking. I'm not sure about that, but I think they're gonna be a side story about Tachibana Crush, the guy who like come to work in her place as well.
Yeah, with the spiky hair.
Yeah, with the spiky hair, that's the one. I think they're gonna be a side story about his point of view.
Right. Well, that would be interesting if we compare his side story to Haruka's. If there's a little bit of overlap, and obviously he likes
Mhm.
Tachibana,
Yeah.
then maybe Haruka does too.
I think I would compare that about his story to Tachibana's story because it's the same kind of like crush to someone else.
Yeah, I just worry that we're like I was invested in I still am, I guess,
Mhm.
invested in the Akira Tensho relationship,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just want the show to be like a straight up romance. That's what I'm
Yeah, that's right.
in for, and it's not
Well,
giving us that. Probably because the manga is unfinished.
well, I remember they have like 12 episodes of after the rain, so we still have like half of the time.
I know, but that like to me, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, oh no, we only have half the show left. uh, I think the show will probably still end up the best of the best of the season, just on the basis of its direction,
Yep.
its visuals, um, it's like I don't know, its character designs. I like almost everything about it. I just wasn't feeling this one.
Hmm.
Do you wanna say any closing words about this episode? Leave it on a good
Uh,
note.
Nah.
No.
Well, I hope that the next episode gonna be better.
Okay. Well, you like this one, right?
I like this one, but
Yeah.
yeah, not
I mean,
not that much. We agree that the first few episodes when they want to chat in the relationship between Tachibana and Kondo was the best, right?
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think so. Episode 4, I know, is probably your least favorite because that's the one where Kase got the most screen
Mm.
time.
that's right. It's still work in the main narrative. Like it's still more if it still feel more important than this episodes. So like I have a feeling that this episode is not that important to the main story. It's except from the last scenes about
Chihiro.
Chihiro. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. We'll see what happens next week.
Right.
All right, give me your thoughts on Darling in the Franxx so far. The new episode comes out tomorrow, so at this point we've only seen 1 through 5.
Yep. So from 1 to 4, Darling in the Franxx is an enjoyable show, but doesn't live it's just a show that I can watch, but nothing much to talk about because some of the stuff are very silly. Like
Yes.
on the sex joke was pretty
Uh,
stupid.
I don't know about, are they jokes? Isn't it more like metaphors and stuff?
Oh, metaphors. All right. So all of the metaphors are pretty obvious. Are pretty
Yes.
stupid.
Yes.
But actually, like the last episode, the episode 5, I actually think that it was one of the best one that they have so far. Like I actually care about the characters more.
Really? Okay.
Because
Can
he
you-
he
Go ahead.
hero become more like relatable. I just don't like hero for the first 4 episodes, but now
I still don't like him.
I still don't like him. But now I can feel I can relate it to his issues right now.
Okay, I've been watching this show every week. You
Mhm.
know, it is one of the biggest shows of the season.
Yep.
So I guess that's why we fell back on it after Junji Ito ended up being so, like disappointing on average.
Yep.
But despite the fact that I've been watching it every week, it like pretty much everything about the show exits my mind within a few days of watching it. So tell me what happened in episode 5 that was like, that made Hero more relatable.
All right. So we know that 02 uh l- have her ability to like swallow off like what I call like she just sucked the life out of the partner who arrived with her in her what is name the
Franks. Oh, Strelitzia.
Strelitzia. All right, Franks, her Franks.
Yeah, just say her Franks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it have the same like first we think that hero was different kind of guys like hero was the special guy, but actually the episode we learned that he having the same problem as well.
Yeah, he has dinosaur AIDS.
Yeah, well, well, right.
That's how I think of it because like she's part Klaxosaur, right? That's why she has those horns.
Yeah.
And now
Uh,
he's got this big, thing on his chest. Like this,
Yeah,
it's
on-
like a tumor.
Tumor, yeah, but under they say that that tumor was like the exact opposite side effect compared to other guys before.
Yeah, they said that his yellow blood cell count was elevated as opposed to like too low.
yeah. So
So there is
but
something special about him.
yeah, there is something special about him, but he's still having a side effect, a bad side
Yes,
effect of,
that's
you
true.
know, riding the Franks with her. So but despite he knowing all that, he still track on because now he have a purpose. The last four episode, he just being a crybaby, just it just so annoying to watch. But actually, this one, because he have a purpose, I feel I do feel for him. And for the last four episode, we see the 02 fixed station to the guy like he's my darling and stuff. But now we see it in another lie as well. So
What?
I think that basically
Another lie?
for the
Did you
man,
say?
yeah, another lie. So she know that she hurt the guy. She know that, like if hero bail out, he just like one of these guy that she already had before.
Right, one
So
of her past partners who she
yeah.
killed.
So now she become the tsundere. But but
Oh,
you know,
God.
like I enjoy that dynamic right now, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
like story wise, it's getting better, a bit better as well.
Okay. Yeah. So was the main development the fact that he has dinosaur cancer
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah.
Did he
Let's call it
piloted
that.
with her in this episode? No, right?
So he pilot with her the last episode.
In episode 4. So what happened in 5? Like what
Mm,
was there an enemy that came and they had to defeat, or did that not happen? Was it just all like talking?
Oh, they just all talking. So they're gonna be an enemy on the next episodes.
Oh,
Because I
that's
think
right.
like
There's
in
like
the
a
end of
huge.
this,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah. There's a
yeah,
huge swarm of Klaxosaurs that are heading for them, right?
that's right. Yep.
And they've the two plantations are now kissing, which means that
Yep.
magma is
My
flowing
God.
between them.
Yeah.
Uh, so we met all the new kids,
Yep.
all the new pilots, I guess, or they're not new. They're new to us as the audience. And at one point, one of the I don't know all their names. They just look like so generic. They look like characters from every. There
Yep.
must be a character designer at A1 Pictures who just makes everything look the same because they
Yeah.
looked exactly like the characters from I don't know Anohana, and
In every other house.
yeah, well a lot for sure.
Well,
So they meet all those kids, and one of the little kid who's always like talking about how great he is with
mhm.
the brown hair. He says, "Do you guys know any adults? Like any pilots who have grown up to become adults?" And then one of the
Oh,
other
yeah.
kids is one of the other kids, from the other plantation. He whispers, "Oh, I guess he doesn't know." So that obviously means parasites don't grow up.
Yeah. Oh, I think that just the kid can drive that Franks.
Yeah. I mean, with all these shows, there has to be some kind of reason why it's
Mhm.
teenagers who are piloting the robots. But it seems to me that it's not just that only kids can do it, or that only teenagers can do it. It's that the teenagers who pilot the Franks, they don't grow up, like they can't grow up.
Mhm.
It's not just that they die or anything like that. I feel like there's something different about them biologically.
Mhm. All right.
That's my theory at this point.
Yep. All right. What do you think about Darling in the Franks so far?
I think it's totally goofy and silly, and it's not very good. And I think you know how every episode like opens and closes with some flowery dialogue from Hiro about like how he looked in the girl's eyes and for the first time he knew that the world was, like
Oh my God,
beautiful, and you know what I'm talking about?
No, I totally forgot about that, and now you reminded me.
Yeah. And in episode 1, he finds that bird,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
like with an injured wing, and he starts talking about how like I don't know, like 02 is some kind of bird, and she shares her wing. It just when I It's just bad. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about that.
All
I
right,
could go on, but I hate it.
well, for Darling in the Franxx, I always fascinated to watch it by the production levels. So the visually it look very nice.
Oh, really?
Well, for me, yes.
Okay.
Like
What if
so
you
not
had to
the
highlight like
not
one?
not the all right
You
the
had
the
to
fight
Oh, we're just talking over top of each other. Go ahead. I'm gonna stop.
sorry so the fight actually it's pretty to watch. I like the design, the background design, and on the design of the plantations,
How about
and
the
the
design of the robots?
it looks alright.
They look ridiculous.
it it does look a bit ridiculous, but well,
Why does
it's
Strelitzia have breasts?
it still it still look different.
I mean, it
As
definitely looks
opposed
different.
it's as opposed to the character design, which is look semi for every characters.
Yeah.
For the
Did you-
character, I think for the character design, I just like 02 design.
Yeah, she definitely seems to be the one that most people are latching on to.
Mhm.
Because she's got the pink hair, she's got the horns, she's got that little. What is the deal with that headband that she wears? That like attaches
I
to
think
her horns.
I think it's meant to protect her horns. It tend to hide her horns.
But her horns are always visible, even when she's wearing that white headband thing.
Well, you remember like one of the time the other girl Ichigo tried to get that headbands out off, and and then, like it having some effect or something. The
Yeah,
horns.
when she does get the headband off, and then Zero Two's eyes start to, and her horns, they start to glow red,
Yeah,
and she
that's,
gets like really menacing and threatening.
yeah, that's right. So I think it's meant to like protect to control.
Yeah, it's probably to subdue like the Klaxosaur blood in her, or
Yeah, yeah.
make her more human or something.
Hmm.
But that is a unique element of her design, and
Yeah.
she's like walking around all the time, sucking the lollipops. You get that little bit of innuendo.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
I think people just like her because she's supposed to be sexy, I guess, and because
Mm.
she seems to be more powerful than everyone and have more information than everyone.
Oh, so and do you know about the play in her name?
Yeah, Zero Two
So-
Oni.
Seriously,
I know.
only yeah. Well,
Every
I think
character's like that.
I think that was nice.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the sort of thing that I would consider a bonus on top of an already good show. But Darling in the Franxx, I don't think is very good, so I don't really care about their names.
All right, and so I like the show on the visual level, but for the narrative and for the characters, they just planned. They just bad. Like for especially for the first 2 or 3 episodes, it's it it goes on the usual trope that we know. Like
Yeah.
I can tell how it ends. Just the way they talk, just the way they begin.
Yeah, there's a fat guy
just
who's
not
always
good story.
eating.
Oh, yeah.
The fat character is always eating. The girl with the high pitched voice is always like eh.
Alright.
The little kid who's the one who I referenced earlier who said, "Are there any adults? Do you guys know any adult pilots?"
Yeah.
He's always talking about how he's so great and he's number
Yeah.
one,
Uh-huh.
and you have the childhood friend Ichigo, and Goro is obviously that's her partner. He's obviously in love with her.
Yeah.
And then none of them understand the concept of romantic love or sexual attraction, really. So I guess this is like a society where do you think it's just these kids, just the pilots, who have this information kept from them, like they haven't been taught about sexuality or love or anything?
Well,
or do
just-
you think that's everybody?
No, I think it's just no kids from that plantation, so it's just our kids who doesn't know much about other details about the thing you say. I think all the kids from all the plantation they have pretty much good idea about like everything.
Huh. Okay, so you, like the new pilots that we met, for example, from the other plantation. You
Yeah,
think
I
they
think
are all totally up on what's going on, like in terms of birds and the
Yeah.
bees? You know, like sex talk.
I think so. I would say so.
Okay, then why? Why is it? I mean, we know that there's like a grand council. We see them every once in a while. The guys wearing the white robes, they're like robots,
Uh-huh.
and they're all sitting around in a circle looking at monitors and graphs and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Not
they're
that much.
obviously okay. They're obviously plotting something.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me of Evangelion because that show frequently cuts to the Sele meetings where there's, you know, like it's a bunch of really powerful guys who are pulling all the strings. So the same thing is happening in this show. So obviously the reason that the kids don't know anything about sex or procreation or anything like that is because it's part of some
They
plot.
can't.
Oh yeah, I mean I guess yeah. If they can't grow up, then there's no need for them to know about that. Maybe that information's kept from them, so they'll just continue mindlessly piloting the robots.
Well,
That's I'm not a big fan of the show, but I am always kind of interested to watch the next one because it's like the show with the most buzz, and
Yeah.
I just want to see how much more like dumb and ridiculous it can get.
yeah. Well, I absolutely don't enjoy the sexual reference or the sexual references.
I can feel myself going deeper inside you.
Oh my god, that just I can stop laughing from that. My god, why they have to be so obvious?
I mean, I think it's meant to be obvious, but at the same time, it's no good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get anything out of it.
Well, for panty and stocking, I think on the sexual joke and reference was really on point, but for this one, it just so out so stupid, you know.
I Yeah, it is. I mean, for panty and stocking, the whole idea was to be as gross and as vulgar and as irreverent as possible. And with this show, the whole concept of the way that the mechs work is it's all about compatibility between a man and a woman, and there's been
That's
references to like STDs and sexual incompatibility and
Yeah.
erectile dysfunction and you know all that, like different
Yeah.
sexual positions. But
Oh, all right.
go ahead, you're about to say something.
No. You finish yours.
I can't remember how I was going to finish that thought. The show is I remember now. The show is not offering any commentary on
Yeah.
sex, relationships, love,
That's right.
gender politics, anything. It's not making a statement about any of that. It's just using
Yes.
it as fuel for its dumb mech designs and its silly like love triangles with no
Yeah.
with no hook to them.
Well, I get what you mean now. It had no context. It had no ground. It just all showed.
Yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to feel? What is this show trying to say about love and sex? Nothing. Nothing
Yeah,
that I can
right.
tell. It's only like a quarter of the way done because it's two core, I think. But I can't see it evolving or becoming any better. You were gonna say something. Go ahead. Do you remember?
Or yeah. They hinted that hero was kind of like a special guy, when the
Right.
kid, before he lose his ability. So
Yeah,
what do you think
everyone
about?
thought he was. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think about him? Like what his specialty and stuff? What make him special?
He was like a leader, right? He was giving
Yeah.
everyone code
Names.
names and stuff,
Yeah.
nicknames. I don't know. And everyone looked up to him, and then for some reason he wasn't able to pilot like everyone else, and his partner had to be sent away.
Yeah.
I think she's dead,
I remember
actually.
I don't think she does. Like I remember the next episode, second episode, they told us that she was she was hospitalized,
Oh, okay.
but we never see her again. I'm sure. Well, for
I don't know what's special about him.
yeah. Well, for the kids from other plantation, they mentioned that he was already famous.
That's true. Yeah, they
everyone
knew
know
who he
about
was.
him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have to figure that Hero, as the main character, I mean, 02 is kind of like the main character in terms of how much everybody, loves her and how the plot revolves around her.
Yeah.
But Hero he's the main character.
Yep.
And you have to figure that he's probably central to that council of robot-looking guys with white cloaks. He's central to their plan, whatever plan they have. Just like in Evangelion, with where Shinji is central to Nerve's plans and to Seilei's plans.
Yeah, that's
So
that's the role of the one.
Yes, he's like Neo from the Matrix. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And many other chosen ones throughout, literature, film, whatever, history. So he's the chosen one somehow. I think I've seen the theory put out there that he is actually he's gonna turn into whatever 02 is.
Yeah,
Like his
yes.
infection. He's gonna
That's
turn
right.
into a Klaxosaur or whatever.
Well, that's what I think too.
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
I guess. I don't know. There maybe like there needs to be like a union between two half Klaxosaurs, half humans, and then the child that they produce will be able to, I don't know, like save the world or destroy it or something, and that's the whole that's the end game. I don't know, man.
All right. So is that 02 is the mix between human and Klaxosaur?
Yeah, she has Klaxosaur blood.
So yeah. So what is Klaxosaur, by the way?
It's I don't know. It's the monsters that they're always killing. Those black and blue like worm-looking things, and they take on all different kinds of shapes. Those are Klaxosaurs, I think.
Because they look more like machine to me. Well, they sort of like
they
aliens looking.
They do look like machines or aliens. It's probably some kind of biomechanical thing, half machine, half creature.
Or maybe in the future that we learn that the Clomaso is the product of human.
Yeah, I think so. It might be the product of the civilization that we know now.
That's right.
They may have been an experiment or something. Or the other option is, like when the show gets to the halfway point, maybe we'll learn that there's an entire other civilization of humans that has created the Klaxosaurs to wage war against the people in the plantations.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that's the other. I'm thinking that that's just as likely as Klaxosaurs being some kind of biological robotic experiment gone wrong.
Yeah.
It's one of those two for sure. I'm about done with this show, man. What are your how do you want to wrap this up?
All right. So I from the last episodes, I think it's getting better, and I think it's get into, the new fan relationship between Hero and 02. So
Right.
I'm still looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I do keep watching it.
Yeah.
And I tend to let go of shows pretty quickly if I don't like them. So I mean, I guess that's a point in the show's favor. I like it well enough to keep going.
Well, it's the kind of the show that I don't mind watching it right at any moment. Although it just I don't think about that show very much. I still enjoy watching it like week after week. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
So there'll be a new episode tomorrow, and then I guess 6 days after that, when we do this again, we can talk about it. So we'll be a little behind the ball at that point, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Alright.
How so I neglected to watch all 4 episodes of Ergo Proxy we were supposed to do today, so I only saw 10 through 12.
Yeah.
I know
So
you saw 13.
what happened? Yeah, that's alright. So what happened at the end of episode 12?
Yeah, so that's a good idea. I ought to let you know exactly like how far
Yeah.
we can go. It ends with Iggy going back to Ramdo,
Alright.
and leaving Riel in the outside world with Vincent
Yeah.
and Pino.
Alright. Yep. Um.
I mean, if
Do-
you accidentally say some stuff about episode 13, that's fine. I'm
Alright.
not
Yeah.
so
I-
into this show that I care that much about spoilers.
Alright. So first thing first, what do you think about the 3 episodes that you watch?
All right, I guess I'll take it one
do
at
you
a time.
think? Do you
Go
think
ahead.
it's improving? Like as a whole, do you think it's improving from what we saw last week's?
Yeah, I think so. I think that on the whole, what I saw 10 through 12 was better. It was especially better than the last couple of episodes where it was just Vincent.
Yep. Alright.
Episode 10 is the one where it's largely a conversation between Daedalus and Raoul.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was a little lost. I mean, I understood that Daedalus was the one who caused the power outage and who like stole the power for himself in order to create those anti-proxy
Yep.
bullets.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of
Yep.
a silly concept. I got all that, but some of the dialogue between Daedalus and Raoul it felt, a little superfluous. I didn't really identify with a lot of it.
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry, you go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say they say raison d'être, or however you pronounce that, raison d'être, or I don't know. It means reason for living, reason for being.
Oh.
And they say that way too much. Like they're showing off about the. Oh look, we know some words in a language that isn't Japanese or English. Good job, guys.
You know, that is one of my main issue with the show right now. They have some philosophical concept. They have some very neat ones, but they just more like pretentious to me. So they just like spouting on the thing that supposed to make us think, supposed to show that they know the stuff they're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was all it was all like very like very pretentious to me.
Yeah, I agree pretty much. I don't like to use the word pretentious because, I mean, I don't know the mindset of the people who made this show, so I try to avoid using that word, but honestly, it is a little pretentious. Especially all the stuff like episode 11, which
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of liked a lot about episode 11. The idea that Vincent was flashing back and seeing people, like replaying scenes from his past in his mind's eye,
Mhm.
and everyone had the face of the proxy. So it was like a conversation between him and the proxy, kind of like him and his inner self.
Yep, that's right.
So and it was cool. Like it was visually very, I don't know, interesting to see. Like Pino with the proxy face, and a bunch of
Yeah.
other characters with the proxy face. It was
Real with a proxy fight as well.
yep, inside that little
Yes.
hazmat suit or whatever she had to wear when she was in the outside world.
Yep.
Why? Oh, okay. Why is she able to survive in the outside world now?
Oh.
Because she was really sick. Remember in the earlier episodes when she first went to catch Vincent. Why is she okay now?
Oh. Maybe because of that sick. she getting herself immune.
Oh yeah. I mean that's as good a theory as any. Maybe she like fought it off and her body gained an immunity to it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but
maybe.
they didn't explain us anything about that. Yes.
Yeah. I would have liked, especially from Daedalus, who's like a doctor, I would have liked some throwaway line that explains how she's able to go out there. But I mean, it's not a deal breaker.
Yep.
Anyway, episode 11, though I did like a lot of it, there was a lot of, yeah, I mean, pretentious dialogue about, I don't know, like the nature of reality and the nature of the self.
Well, I completely agree with you on that. So, I like the ideas behind the concept behind the Vincent go into his own mind. I like the visual, but I don't like the dialogue. I don't like whatever they try to sell us.
Yeah, the librarian guy was
Yeah,
the main criminal, I guess, in that sense. He was just saying
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's repetitive for one. It's it talk about something that we can relate it to,
Yeah.
and it just sounds too important for its own good. So
Yeah.
I don't. So I don't basically like like the way that they talk, the show talk. All the dialogue are pretty bad as well.
Yeah, a lot of it is pretty bad, I guess. Speaking of being repetitive, episode 11 literally repeated part of itself. After Vincent like regains consciousness or he seems to regain consciousness for the first time,
Yep.
the episode repeats a bunch of his initial dialogue with the librarian guy.
Yeah. That
Um,
was on purpose, and I actually like it.
I mean, I didn't understand what the whole thing, the building, the librarian, everything. It was all a figment of his imagination because he wakes up at the end just lying on the ground.
Hmm.
So, given the fact that the whole thing was imaginary, I didn't really. They can structure the episode however they like because it's all in his mind's eye. So
Yeah.
I didn't understand the reason behind kind of like rebooting it and showing Vincent's first encounter with the guy again.
Hmm.
Uh,
All right.
I mean, I did like a lot about episode 11. Mostly, uh, the idea that he was grappling with the proxy being a part of himself, and that he was seeing it as being part of everyone else. I don't know really how to break that down on a thematic level, but it was cool to look at, and it sold me on the idea that he now accepts that he is a proxy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another thing that happened in episode 11, we got confirmation that it actually is ice that they've been traveling over. At one point, the librarian guy says that the skies disappeared and the seas froze over. So it is ice.
All right. Mm.
And you can
Good
kind of
pick up
see
there.
that it's ice in... Thanks. You can kind of see that it's ice in episode 12, which is where they kind of go into like a forest.
Yeah.
That's where they encounter the proxy that Riel first shoots with the bullet.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And there's like a whole bunch of... There's like waves almost, it looks like, that have been frozen.
Yep.
So I really like the idea that the sea froze over, and so that's what they've been traveling over. It's like a dead sea. Only instead of being really
Right.
salty, it's frozen.
It ice. Yep. Hmm. Well, do you think that Real gonna shoot Vincent in the end? With
Yeah, that's
a bullet?
she does threaten to shoot him.
I think
uh,
she will.
Well, I mean, she only had 2 bullets to start with, right?
Hmm.
Iggy says that to her at one point. You only have 2 bullets, and we also see that the case that Daedalus presents her with has
Mhm.
only 2 bullets in
Yep.
it. Although I thought that like one was already loaded in her gun, and then she was given 2 more. But anyway, it seems as though she only had 2, and now that she shot the guy in episode 12, she only has 1 left. So it's like
Mhm.
Chekhov's proxy killing gun.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if she's going to use it on Vincent. I mean,
think.
Go ahead.
Yep. I think narrative wise, she's gonna shoot him in the end.
Even though he loves her.
Even though she loves her. Even though
So-
that she might not see him as a threat. I think she will shoot him. She will the one who put him down. Actually, what do you think of Vincent at the Ergo Proxy's role?
What do I think about his role?
Yeah,
I don't know. He's a proxy.
yeah,
He's the guy who Riel's trying to track down, and he's the one. He holds the secret probably to keeping Romdo, like power, keeping the lights on, and keeping the artificial life system working and all that. So
right.
his role is that he's the proxy. He's like the central figure.
Yeah. So is the proxy supposed to be good or not?
I don't think that it's a question of goodness or badness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the proxy is. I don't think proxies have. They're not like beholden to morality. They're supposed to be kind of godlike beings. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think that Vincent being good or bad is what matters because he's exhibited some kind of mastery over the proxy. After Riel shoots the that huge guy in episode 12,
Yep.
and then she says, I might shoot you too. The proxy like threatens her when Vincent's face is still black, his skin is still black.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you see him like kind of wrestling with himself for a bit, and then he comes out of it and he appears normal and he says, don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's Vincent
Because-
being good or bad that's gonna determine what happens with the proxy.
Well, because for now, I have a feeling that Vincent as a Ergo proxy of the dead, that was he said,
Right.
is his main purpose is to kill other proxies. That's what
Okay,
I
but-
think so far.
Yeah, that makes sense because his name he is the proxy of death.
Yeah.
But my question is, how are proxies created?
It's a tube. What we they have like a special shell, a special shell that make them immortal.
Yeah, the Amrita cells, but
Yeah.
I don't get the sense that proxies are created by Daedalus or anyone in Romdo, any of those statues, the regent or Riel's grandfather or anything. I feel as though the proxies are,
A bond. That boy.
well, yeah, are they're created some other way. They're their own race or their own type of being.
Yeah.
When Moody is first talking about the proxies in one of the early episodes, when we first
Yeah.
venture into the outside world, he says that they're capable of taking like entering the body of a human and controlling their spirit.
Yep.
So I really feel like proxies are a separate thing altogether.
Mm.
And that all the experimentation, because Daedalus had the monad proxy.
Yep.
In the first episode, you see that it's being tested and stuff.
Mm.
So I think that all the experimentation surrounding them is just human meddling, and I think that the proxies are their own thing. But I want to know what their actual purpose is.
Right.
Maybe they don't have one. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, I so far we finished like 12 of the episodes.
Well,
And
you've done 13, so we're about halfway done.
Yeah, so like no, it's like first core of the of the series.
Yeah, pretty
How
much.
do you think about the show so far? Yeah.
It's
How
all
do you
right.
think about it so far?
It's okay.
I-
I mean, I was dreading having to watch it, but these episodes were better than the batch from last time, I think.
Yep.
So it's cool. I'll keep going. I've heard from another friend of mine that episode 15 is like really, really, really good. So
Oh, right.
I'll push through to that and see what happens. Who knows
so
whether
far,
that's true?
Yeah, so far I like the thematic contents of the show. Don't really like the context or whatever like philosophy issues that they tell us. They want to convey.
What philosophical
Yep.
issues are really being
Product.
expressed. Yeah, like
Well,
what?
it's a sense of self. So it's like Vincent who doesn't know that if he is a human or if he is a proxy, and now he's like constant fight between being one or another.
Yeah.
So I think that's why that he lost his consciousness when he became a proxy like in early episodes, because he still
Yeah.
identify himself as a human.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I don't know what other philosophical themes are actually present in the show. I know there's a lot of stuff about machine consciousness,
Yeah, and machine consciousness as well. Like
the nature
So
of the
that
soul, all that.
yeah,
I just don't really.
although we don't see much about that so far, except from Pino.
Well, I think we've gotten a
and
good
do
amount.
you think that
The Cogito virus,
Iggy?
like auto raves. Yeah, Iggy as well. On the concept of an entourage, like the auto rave who's always following you around.
Yep.
Raul has one.
Mhm.
Muriel has one. Even Vincent had one.
Yeah.
And
So-
even
sorry, so-
remember. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
Yep.
Just to wrap up the idea of machine consciousness. Remember in episode 10 when we find out that Riel is still alive. She's
Yep.
in another dome where there are a whole bunch of robots and no other humans.
Yeah,
And all the robots are still performing their tasks. But at the
right.
even at the very end, you see that the robot that is delivering the papers, it's going along its route, and it's throwing a bunch of papers, and then it starts to. You can see that it's like kind of thinking about throwing a paper onto the porch of the next house, but instead it just decides to drop it and ride away, and that's the end of the episode. So
Yeah.
the idea there is that it's like it's gained a higher consciousness, and it's decided that it doesn't want to fulfill its programming. It wants to live for itself.
That's right.
So that's
And-
but that's
and
not
that-
really explored
Yep.
because it just ends.
Well, the next episode, the episode 13, we'll talk more about that.
Oh, there's
So
gonna
you-
be more stuff about machines.
Yep. So you can see about that being expressed.
Okay, that's good.
Alright. So for now we have like 11 episodes left. So I would recommend we go like 4, 4, and 3.
For you, it'll
So
be
the
like
next one for. Yep.
you've got 10 left, but how far do you want to
I
go?
got-
Up to 16 or up to 17?
So is that so up to 16. So 4, 4, and 3 from yours. So 4, 4, and 3.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Up to 16.
You have 16, 20, and then the rest.
The last
20,
3.
3. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me, partner. That way you only have to
Alright.
watch 3 next week.
And yep, and we can burn through the episode 15 that was said to be very good.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? That person
Yeah,
also
who
thinks
knows?
that, like Your Lie in April and stuff like that is good. Like Clanad.
Oh, well,
I don't,
well,
I
I,
don't really
I
care
can
for-
see, I can see the point. It's still pretty solid. Not like my favorite, but you know.
I've
Both of
never seen Clanad. But I saw Your Lie in
Oh.
April. I saw half of it, and that was more than enough, man.
Oh, right.
For me, anyway. Everybody's got their own,
Mhm.
tastes, opinions, all that.
All right.
We're about
You
done,
have
I
any
think.
bottom line for this week?
Yeah, my bottom line is I'm really disappointed in After the Rain. But it's still, AOTS.
Yep.
And Ergo Proxy makes me kind of sleepy watching it, but I'm still,
Gosh,
planning on finishing it.
I had the
And-
same feeling, man.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help that the show is like super black and gray.
Yeah. Well,
We didn't even talk about the fact that like Vincent is in love with Riel.
Yeah. Whew. I don't have much to talk about that actually.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They're alone together now, pretty much, unless you count Pino.
Yep.
I really hope that Pino is like the key to the entire show. I hope that she is somehow,
I
you know,
I
the
I do think so. Yes.
fact that she's infected with the Cogito virus. I think that's probably going to be a big
And the fact that
thing.
yep. All right, and the fact that I know that in some later episodes they have like an episode that have her name in it, which is
Okay.
a child of God or something. I don't remember. Anyway,
Anyways, we'll be back. We'll be back next time, everybody, with new coverage of the winter season plus pretentious proxy.
all right.
Thanks for
I see you
listening,
soon,
everybody.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.